The purpose of these lessons is to show you the logic behind the most basic Chinese characters, beginning with the simplest pictograms, and later combining these elements to create more complex characters. This lesson contains 11 characters, 9 of which are based on the pictogram of an ear. So our first slide shows 5 variations on the human ear. From the earliest oracle bone drawing, through 3 different writing styles, and finally the squarish modern version. Pronounced third tone, er, er. The lobe of the ear is the part that hangs down, 垂下来, so it's called 耳垂. 耳目, literally ears and eyes, sometimes refers to spies, and sometimes just means there are a lot of people around, as in this next example. 扒手看众多耳目，认为不好下手. On seeing so many people around, the pickpocket felt it wasn't a good time to try his luck. 耳语, literally ear speaking, is one way to say whispering. 妈用耳语问我几点回家. Mom asked me in a whisper when I was coming home. 耳背, literally the back of the ear, translates as hard of hearing, possibly because your listener is cupping the back of their ear to capture more of the sound. 你公公好像有一点耳背. Your grandpa seems to be a bit hard of hearing. A slap on the face is 耳光, literally an ear flash, probably referring to the lightning speed at which it occurs, making it hard to dodge out of the way. 你为什么要打他耳光? Why did you slap his face? With or without 要, this sentence is definitely after the slap, referring to the person's motivation to slap, not the future meaning of 要. If you actually need to talk about a person's ears, you have to add another character after 耳, which is our second one today. Pronounced third tone, 多, 多, but neutral tone when paired with 耳. This character originally represented a tree laden with heavy blooms. So, one ear is 一个耳朵, but unstressed 多 is usually dropped if you specify 左耳 or 右耳. Third tone 多 serves as a measure word for flowers and clouds, as in the next 2 examples. 一朵花 is a flower. 一朵白云 is a white cloud. Our third character today started out as 2 mouths next to an ear, meaning to listen to advice from different sources. This later morphed into a person with an enormous ear listening to advice. Still later, this developed into an enormous ear, a mouth, and a person standing on high ground. This combination is pronounced fourth tone, 胜, 胜, with the purple element serving as phonetic, while at the same time emphasizing this person is standing with their ear raised, listening intently to what is being said. Originally meaning to listen attentively to others' advice, over time this character came to mean supreme intelligence and wisdom, referring to the emperor and the gods, and anything related to them. Some examples: 圣上, Your Majesty. 圣明, enlightened ruler, the one of divine intelligence. Western religions also adopted this character to translate the meaning of sacred or holy, as in 圣地, the Holy Land, 圣水, holy water, 圣人, a saint, 圣母, the Blessed Virgin Mary, 圣主, the Lord and Savior. Here are some examples, all of which have a religious connotation. 我们来到这个圣地麦加. We've arrived in the holy city of Mecca. Notice the transliteration of the place name Mecca, 麦加. Since the earliest Chinese traders, merchants, and emigrants were from the southern provinces of Fujian and Guangdong, most foreign place names are transliterated using those two dialects, especially Cantonese. And jia is pronounced ga in both of those dialects. Foreign place names on maps are still today written as if pronounced in Cantonese. Mecca, Mecca being an example. 天主把今天定为圣日. The Lord has set aside this day as a holy day. 你的行为连圣人看了都会生气. Your behavior would try the patience of a saint. Literally, would make even a saint angry. Our fourth character does not contain the ear reticle, but enters into the following one, which does. So first, we have to quickly review the character 直 from lesson 8, the pictogram of an eye looking directly at an object to determine whether it's perfectly straight or not. In today's new character, the eye is turned horizontal to give more room for a heart reticle at the bottom. This is an earlier form of the character, pronounced second tone, 的, indicating rectitude of the heart, a righteous heart, otherwise known as virtue. Later, the crossroads element was added on the left to emphasize the exemplary moral conduct of a person of virtue. The final result is still pronounced second tone, 的, and is the character in use today. 道德 means morality. We learned before that 道, spelled T-A-O in English, also has a religious sense. 这个人的行为违反道德. This person's actions go against moral standards. 品德 means a person's moral character, with the 3 squares of 品 referring to the idea of differentiation, distinguishing one thing from another, as one person's morals from someone else's. 我相信她的品德很好. I believe her personal character to be excellent. 公德, literally, social morality, expresses how a person conducts him or herself in public. So, 公德心 translates as basic courtesy when in public, such as not littering, spitting, talking too loudly on a bus, or otherwise offending others. 看电影时，有人没公德心，走来走去. Some people lack basic courtesy, walking back and forth during a movie and obstructing everyone's view. 德行 is a formal expression meaning morality and conduct. However, when 行 is pronounced with a neutral tone, 德行, it's a colloquial expression usually used to criticize a person's poor manners or unacceptable appearance. 看你这个德行，太丢人了你. Just look at you. You're absolutely disgusting. As a final example, de can also be used in the phonetic spelling for Germany or German. The full spelling is 德意志. An attempt to transliterate into Chinese characters the German pronunciation Deutsch, as in Deutschland. Fortunately, we only need to remember de plus the character for country, 国, just as we did with 泰国, 英国, and 法国. 德语 naturally means spoken German. 我们在找一个精通德语的人. We're looking for someone who can speak German well. The fifth character in today's lesson is based on de with the addition of the ear radical and a purple phonetic of a person standing upright on a raised mound, the same element we found in sheng a few minutes ago. This new character is pronounced first tone. Ting, ting. It means to listen and obey. You may have noticed that both sheng and ting began as an ear beside two mouths, giving advice. That's because in ancient texts these two characters were interchangeable with the same basic meaning of to listen intently. Their meanings have diverged significantly in the modern language. Sheng meaning sacred or holy, while ting refers to the general idea of listening and following orders. However, they both share the connotation of virtuousness. According to one etymologist, that's because in the earliest uses, the listener was receiving instructions from the gods. Ting li means one's ability to hear or ability to comprehend. 英语听力 would therefore be one's English listening comprehension. 听众, literally, the listening crowd, is the expression for one's listening audience. 作家的话显然打动了听众. The writer's speech clearly moved his audience. If we turn the sounds around and say 重听, 重 becomes a different character, and the combination is yet another way to say hard of hearing, or in Chinese, heavy of hearing. 妈，你何必否认你是有一点重听? Mom, why do you deny that you're a bit hard of hearing? We learned before that 候车室 is a train or bus waiting room. So 候 can mean to wait. 听候 therefore means to wait for instructions, wait for an order, an announcement, or a response, as in 听候回应, to wait for a response. 听信 means that one listens to and believes what someone has said. 别光听信我的话，听听别人怎么说. Don't just take my word for it. Listen to what other people say. A four-character idiom is 言听计从, meaning to always follow someone's advice or have implicit faith in what they say. 父母的话，他言听计从. He always does whatever his parents want. A shorter expression for the same idea is 听从, meaning to follow someone's advice. 你就听从你大脑，马上跟男友分手. Just listen to your brain and immediately break up with your boyfriend. Her brain clearly understands the problem, so she should quit following her heart in this case. To hear and to say put together becomes 听说. To hear it said that something is true. 说到你哥，我听说他正在找工作. Speaking of your brother, I hear he is currently looking for a job. Of course, 听 and 说 can be separated if necessary. 别着急，你听我说完. Don't worry, just hear me out. 听话 means to follow orders, to obey, referring to children or adults. 小朋友要听话，你知道不知道? Children have to do what the teacher says. Understand? 你要是不听话，你的腰就好不了. If you don't follow the doctor's orders, your back will never get better. 你是因为不听话而挨了打，挨了骂. You were punished because you misbehaved. 打听 is an expression meaning to inquire, to ask about something. 我想跟您打听一件事. I would like to ask you about something. 你是怎么打听到有这么好的生意? How did you find out about this great business opportunity? 听得出来 and 听不出来 both refer to one's ability to differentiate sounds. 耳朵尖的人都能听得出差别. Those with sharp ears can hear the difference. Notice 尖 for sharp hearing, just as in English. The words people say can be either easy on the ear, 顺耳, or grating on the ear, 不顺耳. They might not even enter at all, as in 听不入耳. To find a person's words unacceptable. 大使说的话，我个人听不入耳. Speaking for myself, I found the ambassador's words unacceptable. The sixth character in this lesson started out in oracle bone script as the depiction of a kneeling person with hands raised in prayer and listening for a response from the gods. That was later replaced by an ear at the door, apparently eavesdropping, with door also serving as the phonetic. It's pronounced second tone, 闻, and usually means to hear, or more rarely, to smell. If that double meaning sounds odd, compare the English meaning of to get wind of something, referring to a deer picking up the scent of a human and running away without ever catching as much as a glimpse of the hunter. In other words, smelling and hearing are both ways to gather information. 闻名 means one's name has spread far and wide. Many have heard it. 这是闻名天下的天然奇景. This is a world-famous natural wonder. 他因为手术高明而闻名国内外. He is well known here and abroad for his excellent surgical skills. The idiom for turn a deaf ear is 听而不闻, literally listen but not hear. 不一样的看法，他是听而不闻. She turns a deaf ear to views that differ from her own. Another common idiom is 不闻不问. Literally, not hear, not ask. In other words, be completely indifferent. 家人有问题，我怎能不闻不问? When family members have problems, how can I remain unconcerned? 三哥在街上打架，父母不闻不问. When my brother brawls in the streets, our parents just ignore it. What one sees and hears is rendered as 耳闻目睹. 他 耳闻目睹的一切使她灰心. Everything she's seen and heard has left her disheartened. A fantastic tale is 奇闻, and when paired with 千古, meaning a very, very long time, we get 千古奇闻, a strange and fantastic tale from long ago. 你们来听听这个千古奇闻. Come, let me tell you a strange and fantastic tale. And finally, an example of 闻 meaning to smell. 这是羊肉吗？我闻不出来. Is this lamb? I can't tell by the smell. The seventh character in today's lesson is the idiom of a hand reaching for an ear. According to etymologists, the oracle bone meaning was to beseech the gods for some favor. Pronounced third tone, 取, 取. This later became more generalized to indicate an attempt to persuade someone to give you something. A more unpleasant meaning is its later evolution to refer to the cutting off of a dead soldier's left ear to take back as proof of having killed an enemy combatant. All of this goes into the modern meaning of to take, receive, obtain, or choose. Our first example is the actual physical meaning of taking or removing. 取样 DNA, to take a DNA sample. The English letters are pronounced the way a Mandarin speaker would say them, that is, first tone, DNA. 取下 and 取下来 mean to take down, take off, or remove. 哥把耳机取下来. My brother took off his earphones. 他侄子把画从画架上取下来. Her nephew removed the painting from its easel. Now we can give lots of examples of the more abstract meanings of take, receive, or obtain, beginning with 取凉, literally to take in the coolness. 到山上取凉, to enjoy the cool mountain air. 听取 means to listen with attention, or to hear a report. 我认为你可好好听取行家的说法. I think you should carefully listen to what the experts say. 取得 means to gain, acquire, or obtain. 不要小看她取得的成就. Don't belittle what she has managed to achieve. Sometimes 取 can be extended to the idea of giving to others in order to gain something in return, as in the expression 取悦, to try to please or ingratiate yourself with someone. By doing so, you gain their favor in return. 这束花是他买来取悦女朋友. He bought this bouquet to try to please his girlfriend. 在泰国，大象用来取悦外国人. In Thailand, elephants are used to delight the foreigners. And finally, 取 can mean to make a choice, choose between various options. 他以公公的名字为男婴取名. She chose the grandfather's name for her baby boy. 三个可能性中没有一个是可取的. Of the three possibilities, not one is acceptable. Literally, not one is choosable. In lesson 44, we learned that 舍 means to forsake or part with, give something up. When combined with 取舍, it means to accept or reject. In other words, to make a choice. 这两者之间，我不知如何取舍。I can't decide which of these two is the better choice. 取道 is an expression which translates as by way of, via, literally, choose this way. 你下火车后，取到人行地下道出口。Once you get off the train, take the pedestrian underpass exit. 它可取到东京到泰国首都。He could travel to the capital of Thailand by way of Tokyo. 取向 is a tendency or orientation. 因为他的性取向，家人不跟他来往。Her family have no contact with her because of her sexual orientation. And since 取 means to take or to choose, it's not surprising that this idea was extended to taking a woman's hand in marriage. This was later given its own special character, the eighth one in this lesson, by adding the female radical underneath. With the pronunciation unchanged. 娶太太 is one rather colloquial way to say take a wife. 她一点头就会有好几个人来娶她。With a nod of her head, plenty of suitors would be at her door. Our ninth character today is also based on 取 and takes 取 as its phonetic component. The auricle bone version depicted two hands instead of one, reaching for an ear. This time depicting several people attempting to persuade someone to give them what they need. Pronounced fourth tone. 句. The two hands were replaced by the triple person element to emphasize many people. This evolved into the modern meaning of many people gathering or assembling in one place. Most phrases in the following examples are simply translated as to get together in English. 聚一聚, 聚会, and 相聚 all basically mean people getting together for some reason, usually for a meal or celebration. 你们下班之后，我们聚一聚吧。How about we get together after you get off work? 聚会的时间已定在后天。The get-together is set for the day after tomorrow. 今天能跟大家相聚，我分外开心。I'm especially happy that we could all get together today. 聚首 is another slightly more literary way to express getting together, literally, the meeting of heads. 会员想找机会聚首分享心得。Members want to arrange a get-together to share ideas. The 10th character in this lesson contains the central element of 关 plus the ear radical on the left. It's pronounced 连 and means to unite, join, make an alliance with. According to some etymologists, this character contains the ear radical because it referred to stringing pots together on a rope through their handles to hang them up and out of the way. How do they guess that? Because the circular handles on various pots and kettles are called the ears, as in 顶耳, the handles on a cauldron. We learned another character pronounced lian in lesson 55. That means to link together one after the other. In ancient Chinese, that lian and today's character lian were interchangeable. But in modern Chinese, they're used differently. Lian, containing the vehicle element, 车, is now reserved for linking various things one after the other in a line, whereas lian with the ear radical refers to joining things that are equal in importance, united in a common purpose, such as the United Nations, which unites many countries on an equal footing. Here are a few examples. 我跟太太开了一个联名户头. My wife and I opened a joint account. Husband and wife here are equally important and responsible. 联想 means to associate ideas, connect them in one's mind. 听侄女的口气，我就联想到她妈妈. My niece's tone of voice reminded me of her mother. The daughter and her mother both used the same tone of voice. 看到了这个情景，你会联想到什么? Does this scene bring anything to mind? Remind you of anything? We learned 关系 in lesson 59, usually describing the connection between people. We now have 关联, generally referring to the relationship between things. 这两件事有明显的关联. These two matters are obviously related. For the 11th and final character in today's lesson, we need to review 元 from lesson 13, meaning the head or the beginning. Those two horizontal lines in yuan appear in our new character as the head covered by a hat, plus 取, meaning to take or obtain. Together, this new character is pronounced fourth tone, 最. 最. You might recall in lesson 40 that 顶 means the topmost part of the head, and to physically support something on one's head. It's this second connotation, pushing upward with the head, that is extended to mean offend a superior, talk back to one's elders, boldly daring to raise one's head when one should be keeping a low profile. So, the hat with head inside is a reference to bold, daring, and courageous action when facing the enemy. Coupled with 取, meaning to slice off the left ear of enemy soldiers killed, this character depicts extreme courage and bravery on the field of battle, with many ears brought back as proof. All of this to explain 最, the character for expressing the superlative degree for Chinese verbs, adverbs, and adjectives. The possibilities are endless, so I'll just give some basic expressions. 最大, the largest. 最小, the smallest. 最多, the most, and 最少, the least. 我的车最多能坐5个人. My car can seat, at most, 5 passengers. Here is our color chart with today's 11 characters. 耳, 闻, 胜, 听, 连, 取, 句, 最, 取, 得, and 躲. Here's a recap from today's lesson. 1. 9 of the 11 characters in this lesson contain the ear radical. The ear itself is simply a stylized version of the human ear, pronounced er. The common expression for ear is 耳朵, adding the unstressed measure word 朵 for flowers and clouds. 2. A person standing on raised ground and listening attentively came to mean a person or being of supreme intelligence and wisdom, 圣, which naturally applied to the emperor and the gods. It's generally translated as sacred or holy in English. 3. The character for virtue, literally a person of righteous heart and deed, 德, was needed in this lesson because it enters into听, meaning to listen. 德 also appears in the transliteration of Germany and German. 4. The earliest version of 圣 and 听 both consisted of an ear beside 2 mouths offering advice. In ancient texts, these 2 characters were interchangeable when meaning to listen with attention. Modern 听, however, now refers more to listening and following orders. 5. The character 文 started out as a depiction of a kneeling person with hands raised in prayer and listening for a response from the gods. It was later changed into an ear at a door, with door as phonetic. It can mean to hear or to smell. If ting means to listen, then wen means to hear, similar to the English distinction. 6. A hand reaching for an ear, 取, originally meant to beseech the gods for a favor, to convince someone to give you something, and later to slice off a dead soldier's left ear as proof of one's valor. The general meaning today is to take, receive, obtain, or choose. By adding the female radical underneath, we can derive the character for asking or taking a woman's hand in marriage, also pronounced 取. In ancient Chinese, the female radical was unnecessary. The ear plus hand character was sufficient for both meanings. 7. 聚 also evolved from 取, adding the triple person element for a crowd, and meaning to gather various things or assemble people together in one place. 8. 连 pairs the central element of 关, meaning to close, with the ear radical, probably referring to stringing pots on a rope through their handles. The handles called pot ears in many Chinese dialects. And since the 2 handles of a pot are both equal in size, 连 today is used when the idea of equivalence is desired. 9. The 11th character in this lesson, 最, combines a head with a cap on, and 取 meaning to take or obtain. The head inside a cap suggests pushing upward with the head, daring to defy a superior or elder. In this particular case, it suggests confronting and defeating the enemy and bringing back irrefutable proof of one's extreme bravery. The ears of defeated soldiers. 最 is now used to show extreme degree, generally translated into English with the est ending, most or least with verbs, adverbs, and adjectives. Now you will find a short quiz on double, triple character, and longer expressions. Answer using only the characters learned so far. Thank you for watching and listening.